Hello, Elvises. So I'm back and I'm ready with more poems. So we're gonna start with Robert Frost, one of my favorite poems by him, and then we'll move into some Shel Silverstein afterwards. So this poem is called The Road Not Taken. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both, and be one traveler long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear. Though as for that, the passing there had worn them really about the same, and both that morning equally lay, in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how ways lead on to way. I doubt if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. So this poem, kind of like when you first hear it, sounds pretty complicated. You don't really understand what's going on. So I'm going to summarize it because I really like the meaning behind it. So they're talking about a man in the woods, and he comes to two paths. One looks like someone's already walked on, and there's like a clear trail, and one looks like it hasn't been touched. It's just trees, like no one takes that path. And he's sitting there contemplating which path he should take, the one that everyone's taking or the one that no one's taken. So in the end, the last line, near the end, it says he takes the path less traveled by. So he ends up taking the path that had the brush and the leaves that no one had really taken. And it's supposed to go to life. You don't always want to follow the crowd, or like the path that was like already there. You want to be different and like do new things, which is why he took the path less traveled by. So in your life, you can always think you could do what everyone else is doing, or you can be different and like do something unique, do something new. So I really like that poem. I really like the meaning behind it. And I just think it's a good one. So now we'll get into some Shel Silverstein, because who doesn't love a good laugh? So I have picked out a couple poems for us today. If I can get it open. So this poem is called Captain Hook. Captain Hook must remember not to scratch his toes. Captain Hook must watch out and never pick his nose. Captain Hook must be gentle when he shakes your hand. Captain Hook must be careful opening sardine cans, and playing tag, and pouring tea, and turning pages of his book. Lots of folks I'm glad I ain't, but mostly Captain Hook. And then here's the picture to go along with it. It's Captain Hook. This poem is called Hug-O-War. I will not play at tug-o-war. I'd rather play at hug-o-war, where everyone hugs instead of tugs, where everyone giggles and rolls on the rug, where everyone kisses and everyone grins, and everyone cuddles and everyone wins. I think that one's cute. And there's a little illustration to go with it. It's just two people hugging. Our next poem. So this poem is called Orchestra. So you haven't got a drum, just beat your belly. So I haven't got a horn, I'll play my nose. So we haven't any cymbals, we'll just slap our hands together. And though there may be orchestras that sound a little better, with their fancy shiny instruments that cost an awful lot, hey, we're making music twice as good by playing what we've got. This poem is called Listen to the Mustn'ts. Listen to the mustn'ts, child. Listen to the don'ts. Listen to the shouldn'ts, the impossibles, the won'ts. Listen to the never haves, then listen close to me. Anything can happen, child. Anything can be. This poem is called Jimmy Jet and His TV Set. I'll tell you the story of Jimmy Jet, and you know what I tell you is true. He loved to watch his TV set, almost as much as you. He watched all day, he watched all night, till he grew pale and lean, from the early show to the late show, and all the shows between. He watched till his eyes were frozen wide, and his bottom grew into his chair, and his chin turned into a tuning dial, and antenna grew out of his hair. And his brain turned into TV tubes, and his face turned to a TV screen, and two knobs saying vert and hors grew where his ears had been. And he grew a plug that looked like a tail, so he plugged in little Jim. And now instead of him watching TV, we all sit around and watch him. Now, our TVs nowadays do not have antennas or turn dials, but they used to. So I'm going to show you the picture so if that puts it in perspective. But I'm talking about an older TV. So this is Jimmy Jet. And then here is the TV set he turns into. So you can see the turn dials, you can see the cord, and you can see the antenna at the top. This poem is called Smart. My dad gave me $1 bill, 'cause I'm his smartest son. And I swapped it for 2 shiny quarters, 'cause 2 is more than 1. And then I took the quarters and traded them to Lou. For 3 dimes, I guess he don't know that 3 is more than 2. Just then, along came old blind Bates, and just 'cause he can't see, he gave me 4 nickels for my 3 dimes, and 4 is more than 3. And I took the nickels to Hiram Coombs, down at the seed feed store, and the fool gave me 5 pennies for them, and 5 is more than 4. And then I went and showed my dad, and he got red in his cheeks, and closed his eyes and shook his head, too proud of me to speak. So this concludes our poems for today. We'll have more tomorrow, and there's some fun ones in here that we haven't gotten to, so I'm very excited. There's a lot of poems in here. A lot of poems. All right, see you tomorrow.